Hi dear doctors, welcome to Kids Covery, a pediatric initiative by me. I am your pediatric faculty, Dr. Parv Luthra, and the topic for discussion in today's class is the developmental pediatrics if we talk for the broader domain, and in the developmental pediatrics we are going to discuss now about the formula types. This is going to be our fifth class, right? So fifth class formula types, what are the important things which you have to understand? See, understand that once the baby, of course, the baby is going to have the breastfeed, but sometimes there's a need to give a formula feed to the baby. So, which is the good formula feed? When the formula feed is indicated, when the formula feed is not indicated, what should you give in the formula feed, what you should not give in the formula feed. Every aspect we are going to discuss in detail here. So, understand. Why should we give a formula feed? What is the need of giving the formula feed? So remember, it is indicated in infants with either galactosemia or lactose intolerance. Okay, so of course, if you have attended my lecture on breastfeeding, I have told you that if the child, if the neonate, if the infant is having galactosemia, if the kid is having lactose intolerance, you can't give them breast milk. Why? Because breast milk is going to have galactose, breast milk is going to have lactose, and of course, because of the presence of galactose and lactose, we can't give them breastfeed. That's why we have to give the formula feed to them. Okay, so formula means what? See, there are protein based formulas which are used in infants who have got malabsorptive disorders or some food allergies. Okay, so for example, somebody is having malabsorption syndrome. Malabsorption means that the absorption is not getting performed properly. For example, a child born with celiac disease. Okay, a child born with celiac disease. So what to give them? Of course, you will give the protein based formula feed to them. Similarly, if the child is having food allergy, what to give them? Again, for protein based formula feed you are supposed to give them. Then comes the next one, amino acid based formula. Amino acid based formula is given if the child is having short bowel syndrome, because one of the most common complications which is associated with short bowel is that amino acids will not be absorbed. Okay, that's why you are supposed to give the amino acid based formula. And when will you give triglyceride oil? When will you give triacyl glycerol or triglyceride oil? It is indicated in the children who are predisposed to chylothorax or chylous ascites. Okay, so chylous, chyle means nothing but your chyle means bile. Okay, so if the child is having bile in the thorax, chylothorax, if the child is having bile in the peritoneal fluid, that means chylous ascites, you have to give them something, and that is going to be high medium chain triglyceride oil. Okay, so this is something that is indicated in these small little children. Now cow's milk based formula is indicated for the newborns whose mother can't breastfeed. Like for example, if the mother is having active HIV, if the mother is having active untreated TB, of course she can't give the breast milk either directly, or even she can't express the breast milk out of her breast, right? And she can't give that breast milk to the baby because it might contain HIV, it might contain TB. So what to do? You have to give formula feed, and in formula feed you have to prefer cow milk. All right. And why not formula feed? Why formula feed is not given to every child? Because please understand that there are some formula feeds which are like cow's milk, goat milk, rice milk, soya milk. These are not good options, my dear friends. That's why you should not pressurize any female to give the formula milk, because otherwise what will they'll do? They'll start giving cow milk, goat milk. They are not at all replaceable for the breast milk. I think we should discuss why cow milk is insufficient. Okay, so cow milk is actually not good because it is insufficient. Why it is insufficient? Because it does not have iron, it does not have vitamin E, and in fact it does not have essential fatty acids. That's why please understand that cow's milk is not preferred. Okay, so I'm telling you that cow's milk is not preferred because they don't have what? See, understand? Cow's milk don't give because it does not have E, that is vitamin E, essential fatty acid, and F for Fe, that is iron. Okay, so I think it's clear to you that the mnemonic is CDEF. That means cow's milk don't give because it does not have E for essential fatty acids, E for vitamin E, and of course F for your Fe, that is iron. Goat's milk is again not good because goat's milk is known to cause some allergies. Of course, goat's milk is having a very high protein. This high protein, nowadays there's a fashion of eating protein. You know, everybody runs behind eating protein. But understand that my infant is a very small baby. The kidneys are also not very good. So, goat milk is having a lot of protein, enough protein. I mean, the protein amount is so much that kidneys can't even metabolize that. And if the kidneys are not able to metabolize that high amount of protein which you are going to give to the infant, this high amount of protein coming from the goat milk can even damage the kidney. Okay. Also, goat milk is not having folate and iron. There is no iron folic acid which is there in goat milk. So this leads to megaloblastic anemia also. Okay. That leads to what? That leads to, of course, that causes megaloblastic anemia also. So I think everybody is aware of the movie, very famous Bollywood movie, that's KGF. So what is G? G for goat, F for folic acid, and of course the iron is less. What is K? Yeah, it is kidney toxic also. Alright, so this is goat's milk. Now coming on to the last part, that is soya milk. So remember, soya milk induces L-thyroxine depletion. Alright, and because of this, what happens? This creates an increased requirement for the iodine, which could potentially cause goiter in the infant. Alright, so simple things, very simple things. What is happening? Understand, this is my infant, and in infant there is L-thyroxine which is getting produced. L-thyroxine is nothing else but your thyroid hormone. So what the soya is going to do? Soya is going to kill the L-thyroxine, and once the L-thyroxine is killed, there will be increased demand of thyroid hormone, and if there is increased demand of thyroid hormone, of course your thyroid hormone cells are going to work harder and harder. This may lead to swelling of the gland, that is called as goiter. Okay, that is called as goiter. So please stop eating soya bean if you have a history of thyroid. In fact, for the adults also, but similar things are true for the kids also. You should avoid giving them the soya milk because it is responsible for causing what? Goiterogenesis. Okay, so this is it for today's class. I think now you all are aware of what to give to the baby as a formula feed and what not to give. Similarly, my dear friends, you should also keep in mind what to eat, what not to eat, what type of people to entertain in your life, and what type of people you should not entertain in life. God bless you. Stay focused. Happy success.